Even remotely, even virtually, and I really wish I was in the Czech Republic in person. It's a great opportunity. I believe it's a great opportunity for us to discuss about common interests, and for me to tell you what the AAVSO is, what it represents, who we are, what we have been doing all this time, and in particular some aspects of the AAVSO that could be of interest to you. And of benefit to you, and perhaps at some point discuss a little bit of how we could cooperate in different projects. So let me start by reminding you that the AAVSO was first, let's see, can I change something? Let's change slides. Here. The AAVSO was first created in 1911 when a group of amateur astronomers were recruited by the then director of the Harvard Observatory to observe variable stars for his project. Since then, we have evolved in a truly international association. We're talking about 1,000 members, about 2,000 observers contributing data and studying variable stars. The reason why we're doing what we're doing is because we believe that astronomy is for everybody, and if we all work together, we may actually learn more. This is our mission, our core mission, and it is to enable anyone, anywhere, to participate in scientific discovery through variable star astronomy. We believe that we can help professional astronomers with their research by providing a dynamic resource for their data acquisition, but we also aspire to involve the public to astronomy and teach everybody something about the most fascinating objects in the night sky. And we believe that we can actually involve anyone in astrophysics research, and we can provide the means for them to actually do it. They don't have to have the background, they don't have to have the instruments. We can provide that for them. So one of the services that the AAVSO is providing is VSX, which is the Variable Star Index. And this is pretty much a super catalog of variable objects. We're talking about more than 300,000 objects right now. It is a superset of the general catalog of variable stars that most likely is familiar to some of you. And this is how it looks like when you first go to the VSX. On your left-hand side, you can see our base menu, so you can search objects in there. And on your right-hand side is a form that would allow you to search for a specific object. So once you put the name of the object there, you may get information about how many observations there is in the AAVSO ID. Of course, the location, right, ascension declination. You can see other names that object may have. So this is actually a great place to see whether the object that you are interested in has appeared in the literature under different names. The spectral type, magnitude, range, variability type, period, if it's there. And actually other comments on the object and references. This is very dynamic in the sense of, and even more actually, the revision history. This is very dynamic in the sense that we're updating the information as new manuscripts, new knowledge is coming out. So this particular catalog is an excellent research tool for those who want to know what kind of background, what kind of knowledge is known on the objects of their interest. I talked about the most important thing that we have at the AAVSO is what we call international database. It's our international database. This is a dynamic repository of variable star light curves. Right now, we are close to 30 million data points, about 25,000 light curves. 700 of the stars that are in the AAVSO International Database are some of what we call legacy stars. Stars that existed in the initial list of objects that the director of the Harvard Observatory put in his list in 1911 when the AAVSO was first created. The number of observations is increasing with time because more objects are getting more data, and even the number of objects are increasing in time as people are getting more interested in different kind of stars. And in order to access the database, you just go on our front webpage, and this is a snapshot of how it looks like. On your low right-hand side, you see a little box that says pick a star. You just put the star name there, and you click plot a light curve. And for some stars, 100 years of data can produce something like this. These are half-day averages of SS Cygni, which is a dwarf nova. It's one of the legacy stars. And actually for this one, we've had some data before even the official formation of the AAVSO, pre-1911. So the first light curve data date all the way back to 1890. We're talking about more than 100 years of data. And what I'm showcasing here is the visual light curve with black points, and with green points, the CCD light curve of SSC. And what I find very interesting is that if you look at the bottom panel, 1995, this is when people started having the first CCD cameras themselves, so they started getting CCD data on it. It's a very well-covered light curve. Other stars that we're observing, other examples can be something like this. The light curves on your right-hand side, on your left-hand side, are Myra variables, they're long-term variables. And the reason that they're very interesting to observe long-term, other than taking snapshot observations or just one night or only 1 year of observations, these are about 30 years of data that you see, actually 40 years of data as you see here, is that if you look very carefully, you see long-term patterns in the light curve, long-term variability that you wouldn't see in 1 year of data. And this is actually, there's a physical reason behind that. So phenomena like that can be revealed with long-term light curves. Of course, when you have short-term light curves, meaning a couple of years or even a couple of weeks of data, you can see phenomena like the ones that you see on your right-hand side. These are Myra variables as well, and with different colors. On the very right, you can see the legend. So B is the blue light curves, V is the green light curves, R is the red, I is the brown, J is the pink, and we do have some H that are gray. So we do have some observers that are observing very, very bright stars in J and H. So we're moving it towards infrared a little bit. What we are doing the best, though, is following campaigns. And campaigns are projects that are of interest to the scientific community for a specific time period, and usually they are coordinated with space-based observations or with other kinds of observations. So what happens is that there's a star that is of interest to professional astronomers, to a researcher, and what they're really interested in is having a photometry on that star while they are having time with the Spitzer Space Telescope, the Chandra Space Telescope, the Hubble Space Telescope, or a big aperture, or the VLT, for example, for spectroscopy. They really need light curves. And when they need simultaneous light curves, they usually come to us. So we have a suite of alerts and campaigns that are catering the professional scientific community. We are pretty much, the professional astronomers are sending us the target of their interest, and they're sending us a rationale, what kind of science they're interested in getting out, what kind of data they need, cadence, how frequently they want us to take the data, whether they want different filters or not, and whether there's a specific time period where they really need the data to be taken in order to be coordinated with their space-based observations. And we are issuing those alerts. We are providing finding charts for the objects, comparing solid stars. We're providing instructions, a little bit of the background for our observers so that they can take the best data they can and for great science. Here's an example of a campaign that we had very early this year. Actually, it was this past summer, Northern Hemisphere summer. It's V404C. This is a black hole binary. And it went through a super flare, and everybody got really very excited. This object was observed with, you name it, IRPF, Hubble Space Telescope, sweeping X-rays, VLA, VLBA. People were trying their new instruments on this object. And professional astronomers contacted us because they needed light curves. They really needed light curves. And this is just a small part of the data that we collected. It was a big party within our community. So we really had a lot of fun with this one. Here's, this one was quite a faint object. So it started increasing from a background of about 16. So in quiescence, these objects at 16 magnitude, it reached about 10. So visual observations were possible, but not very much, unless if you have a very experienced observer and perhaps they have a DSLR camera. A star that really benefited from visual observations is this one. This is Beta Persei. It's one of the brightest stars in the sky, and it was known to be a binary star system. So you have two components that are moving around the common center of mass with a period of 1.5 days. And there was a group from the Lowell Observatory here in the United States that were observing a group of those stars for a completely different reason, and they found that, oh, there's a third object in this binary. So it turns out that it's not just a binary system, it's a hierarchical triple. So as you have your two stars moving around the common center of mass, you have a third component sort of eclipsing those two stars. They derived an orbital period of 702 days, but at the same time they didn't have a model, like a geometrical model of how the inclination of the two stars with respect to the third component is. So they issued a campaign. They actually really needed bright star observers, because this is a fifth magnitude stars, very bright. And they engaged a group of DSLR observers from the AAVSO who did some data, and this is the resulting light curve. So the red line that is going canonically up and down is the orbit of the binary star system, the 1.5 day binary, and then with a black line that is pretty much drawn as it goes through different data points, you see the motion of the third component as it modeled based on the data that were acquired. So this is a kind of projects we're working with. This is a kind of projects the professional community is engaged in the AAVSO specifically in order to help. And these are the kind of alerts that we're making available to the community in order to participate. This is things that we do at the AAVSO. And of course, people have their own favorite objects, and they keep observing them, they keep studying them, they keep building up light curves, and they do actually publish the data. I'll talk about that in a minute. Another thing that we do at the AAVSO, as I said, our mission has to do with enabling anyone to participate. We don't require for our observers to have, or our members for that matter, to have previous knowledge of software. We are providing software for data reduction. We have two pieces of software. The one is called VFOT, and this is for CCD observation processing. So you're inputting your files, your images, and it does the photometry on stars of interest. And the second one is VSTAR. VSTAR is actually a tool for data reduction. So it's doing it's forming light curves, can do periodograms, etc., etc. They were both created by amateur astronomers. So they were both created by members of our community for our community. So they are very straightforward to work with. They're very intuitive, and they are used very widely. So our members are actually helping not only in building light curves or taking observations, but also in software development. So if anyone is interested in something like that, we'll be very willing to talk about potential projects. Another thing that we do is we have a journal, the journal of the AAVSO. And the reason why we do have a journal is because people take data, they analyze the data. Actually, we have lots of our members who are interested in doing research themselves, and they're using the software that we have, VFOT and VSTAR, in order to analyze their own data and reach their own conclusions. And the conclusions can be as simple as, this is the pulsation period of a Cepheid variable. This is the eclipsing timings of this particular eclipsing binary. But at the same time, what is really important and what pushes science forward is when you present your data and you log them, you write them down for everybody to use. When your result is available to the community. And this is how we build this knowledge database. And this is how we learn more about the universe. So the Journal of the AAVSO is actually a journal that we have for the community, by the community. It is mostly catered to first-time authors. This is pretty much our audience there. This is not nature or science or something very sophisticated, but if you have a result that needs to be presented to the community because it can't be used, it needs to be used in the future by a different researcher, this is the place to do it. The editor is John Percy. He's at the University of Toronto. And recently we did we changed the journal a little bit in order to make it better for the community itself. So what we did was we clarified the editorial policies in the scope of the journal, we make it clear what we are publishing. We have different article types. including research articles, education and outreach, solar astronomy, history and biography, etc. We are providing a template, an example for authors so that people know how to write a paper for the first time, what is necessary in terms of information, in terms of structure to present their work. And we do have an international editorial board. It's an international journal, and this editorial board is overseeing the activities of the journal and the refereeing process. This is a referee journal, by the way. We have also changed the instructions to referees so that they are producing constructive comments. The main idea is for a manuscript to be the best it can be when it comes out. And for someone who is writing a paper for the first time, it can be a student, it can be my next door neighbor, it could be me, I started from somewhere. For that person to learn how to present their results in a coherent way so that it can be used for the next researcher. We also, all this information can be found on the right-hand side in the journal page. We also introduced a search function. So if you're interested in a specific object and you would like to know what has been, or a specific thing, say pulsating variables, and you would like to know what has been published in the journal on pulsating variables, you can actually put some keywords in this search engine and it will get you there. And we have also introduced what we call collections. Collections are different groupings of manuscripts that have a common theme. And the one that you see here is on review papers. Review papers are overviews of the literature, what is known right now on specific subjects. So you can find one on RNA library, you can find on cataclysmic variables. These reviews can be used by students, for example, excuse me, when they want to learn something new about a new group, about variable stars, or by researchers or by any of you. If you are interested in a specific type of variable stars, you would like to actually start a new observing program if you want to, or if you're interested to learn what is new, what is exciting about that type of variable, and you would like to find information that it does not require a degree in physics. So this is the main idea of those collections. This is the main idea of those review papers. This is not the only thing that we're doing, though, at the AAVSO. We are making sure that the observers, the people who are taking the data, the people who are supporting this dynamic database, this dynamic repository of data, variable star data, are well trained. Those people have the knowledge, they already have the energy, they already have the passion, they're already interested, but they know what they're doing. They're producing data that are useful to the community, that they can push the science boundaries forward. And for that matter, we are offering a whole bunch of things. We have manuals for all modes of observing. So we have manuals for visual observing, DSLR observing, CCD observing. Actually, for visual, especially for visual, we're translating our manuals to different languages. We have about 15 languages right now. Because we believe that the visual observations are the first ones that people would like to pursue. And it's good to talk to them in their own language. We are offering what we call choice courses. The choice is an acronym in this case. It doesn't matter what it means. But these are small online workshops where we are introducing people to different modes of observing, to even our software. And we have one on variable stars. They want to learn a little bit about variable stars. We are the ones who are running all the alerts, so we're providing targets, we're providing the information that is necessary for those targets to be observed and for the data to be acquired. We are offering workshops. Usually they are connected to our meetings, and this is a way where professional astronomers are engaged. They're giving some kind of instruction on either CCD observations or spectroscopy, because we're starting spectroscopy. We have a very active mentoring program. And one thing that we found is that peer mentorship is very important. From observer to observer, from colleague to colleague. We're all colleagues here. We're all doing the same thing. So for those who want to start an observing program with specific mode, they want to start CCD observations, or they want to start DSLR observations, or even visual observations, or switch from one mode to another. Our mentoring program is partnering them with a more experienced observer who can give them hints, encouragement. They can help them improve themselves as much as they need in order to become a better and better observers. So this is how our members, again, are getting more engaged in what we're doing. And we also have meetings. For us, it's very important to get together, as it is for you, I'm pretty sure, to get together and discuss projects of interest, discuss what is new, what is exciting, what is happening, build a community, build new collaborations, make new friends. It's really essential for us. For our observers, we're also offering certificates. So when people are reaching milestones in the program for visual, CCD, DSLR, or solar observing, we're actually offering them a nice certificate to put on their wall in recognition of their hard work and dedication. We also recognize that our community is international. And an international community, as you know, it's really difficult to actually get together all the time. So most cherished mean of communications are forums. Our forums are actually places where people discuss specific topics. What I'm actually emphasizing here is that this is not Facebook, this is not Twitter, this is not social media. This is not something that people talk about their everyday lives and their family and friends. These are places where people talk about astronomy. They ask questions about observing, there's questions about campaigns. What I like to do, when I read the literature and I find a paper that might be interesting to the community, I post it there. We talk about different modes of observing, both visual CCD. We started spectroscopy. We also started a forum on how to engage more students in research, and students is high school students or undergraduate students in data analysis, data acquisition, what kind of projects they can do, etc., etc. So I would like to encourage everyone to take a look at that forum. Our forums are very interesting. We live in a really exciting time in variable star astronomy. Variable star astronomy is here, and it's here to stay now, and it's going to be producing results that we don't even know about. There are lots of space-based missions that are catered towards observing variable objects, and they're going to produce objects that we don't know about, explosions or modes of periodic variability in stars that we are not aware about right now. We have Bright, that is observing 300 of the brightest stars in the night sky. We're talking about stars that have names out there. Gaia is already there, and Gaia is actually an astrometric mission. Its goal is to measure positions of stars in the night sky, but as a side effect, it's going to produce thousands and thousands of new variable stars. And in the future, we have TESS, that is going to monitor, TESS stands for Transiting Exoplanet Service Satellite. It's going to monitor about 200,000 stars for exoplanets, but guess what they're going to discover? They're going to discover how stars change. That's what we learned from Kepler, that's what we're going to be learning from TESS. And then LSST, the Large Synoptic Survey Telescope. It's an 8-meter telescope in the southern hemisphere. It's going to be scanning the entire sky once every 5 days. So it's going to discover lots of variable stars. And the question usually, when you think about this kind of landscape, is where do we fit in? Where do amateur astronomers or backyard astronomers fit in? And the answer is that without backyard astronomers, without us, without you, science cannot happen. There's so many targets of interest to the professional community, and so little telescope time that professional astronomers will rely on communities like ours, like yours, in order to acquire data, in order to help reduce data, in order to help reach conclusions and reach results. So I'm really very excited to be in this position now, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how astronomy is going to be moving forward in the future years, exactly because of this explosion of science science and new targets that's going to come. And it's already coming, it's already streaming from the community. I would like to finish with that. I would like to leave you with our webpage. This is my email address. Please feel free to use it. Send me an email if you have any questions, if you would like to join us. I would actually like to encourage you to join us. It would be great to have a sister association working with us much closer. We have a monthly email alert. It's a very short email that's called AAVSO Communications. You can sign up through our webpage. You don't have to be a member for that. So I would like to encourage you to sign up just to see what we're doing every month. And with that, I would like to thank you for your attention and ask if you have any questions for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very nice talk. Can you hear the applause?
Yes, thank you very much.
And now we have a few minutes for questions and discussion. So, are there any questions? No? Okay, Mosh.
Hi, Stella. I would like to ask you could you please tell us more about the membership in AAVSO more in detail? This is one, and the second is just only notes. We can see the last screen of your presentation, the future. So let me mention that there is also European project Plateau. Yeah?
Yes.
This is comparable with TESS. So I know you present US project, but here in Europe there is similar project.
Yes, so let me start by your final comment. In Europe, in Asia, there are lots of projects, lots and lots of them. The reason why I'm not including them there is that because I don't have space, so I need to actually put just a small amount. But you're absolutely right. There are European projects that are really very exciting. Gaia is a European project. Gaia is an ESA project. BRIGHT is 1/4, actually not even the United States involved. The US is not involved in the BRIGHT. LSST is a US project and TESS is. So they're just examples of what's going on in there. They're not just...
yes, of course I agree. It was a joke.
Yeah. There's so much, so exciting, Milos, really. It's just we're at the right time, at the right place where we're going to be learning about variable stars. That's what we're going to be doing.
And could you please tell us about the membership?
The membership. So we do have annual memberships here, and we do have discounted memberships for different countries. I would really need to take a look at it a little bit more carefully. I think that you guys are eligible for discounted memberships, and these are $25 a year to become a full member, and that allows you to have access to all our software, to our membership mentoring program, to our the mentoring program is for members only. Discounts for courses, so it's a very significantly discounted fee for members to take all those choice courses. And we do have a membership directory as well. So if you want to find members or observers that are in your area, you can use it that particular tool. And there are other things that provide privileges for members. So this is our main membership route here.
Okay, thank you. And I have in my mind the last question. We discussed about the possibility to have one of your AAVSO meeting in the future in Europe,
yes.
In the Czech Republic. Have you discussed in the headquarters this idea?
Yes, actually, we're discussing on what's going to happen in the future. We're trying to plan a couple of years in advance. I suspect we will be talking more, Milos, in the future. With you, because I would like us to be in Europe every 3 or 4 years, let's say. So let's see.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see. Yeah, yes, and I love that we have a big European community actually at the AAVSO from all countries in Europe, and it's much easier for our European members to come in a European meeting than traveling across the ocean. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. And are there any other questions? If not, I have one, or maybe more. I'm curious, how many people are involved in maintaining VSX catalog?
VSX right now we have 3 or 4. So we have one full staff member who is involved in that. We have a volunteer who is the heart of the AAVSO. He's doing software, and we have 2 or 3 more people who are helping with reviewing the literature. So actually, if anyone is interested in helping with VSX, this is where we would definitely need more hands. This is a place where we would like to get more help.
Only 4 people.
Yes, it's a full-time job. It's a full-time job.
Okay.
Yeah. We are actually interfacing a lot with a group in Russia, where they're doing the GCVS. So we are working with them as well. So the GCVS catalog is imported on VSX, but at the same time, we are checking some things that they're not interested in on VSX.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions? No? So again, me?
Yes?
How do you secure if an observer submits some data? How do you secure that they are at the same 0 level? How do you calibrate the data?
This is where providing suggested comparison stars come in place. So every time that we do have what we call variable star plotter. So for each star field, or depending on the variable of your interest and your mode of observing, we have comparison stars in order to do photometry, especially when it comes to CCD photometry. So we are providing that 0 point. We are also difference. We're also checking light curves. There are some observers that are more experienced than others. So our staff members here, they're spending a lot of time looking at individual light curves as data come in, especially for newer observers. So we know our observers very well, very closely. We know what they can do. And sometimes even the most experienced observers have glitches. They type a wrong number in the comparison star input, and they have an off level of 0 point. Our biggest priorities when it comes to checking data are data that come in for specific campaigns, because these are more time critical. These are more important for researchers now that they need to use them, they need to process them, they need to analyze them for their projects. And then every single light curve, pretty much, we are checking our light curves. We're making sure that the data that are in the AID are appropriate for research. What we want is people to just download light curves and do research on them.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And here's another question. We are out of time, but I think that we should assign a few more minutes for the discussion, yes, because it's a unique opportunity. So, Randall.
Hello. One question to the comparison star where you talked about now. Do you accept light curves only using the AAVSO comparison chart?
Most of the times, yes, because we have had light curves created by non-AAVSO defined comparison stars, and it turned out that the comparison star is a variable. So when your comparison is a variable and you have your variable, then the light curve is not correct. And that is why we're trying to insist on our observers using those stars. Having said that, the catalogs that we're using for comparison stars are the same that everybody's using for comparisons. So you have Tycho, you have whatever is out there for bright stars, and then for fainter objects, we have a project that I didn't talk about. It's called APAS. It's an all-sky photometric survey that is aiming towards defining photometric standards between 7 and 17 magnitude in 8 different filters. And those filters have to do with your Johnson B and B filters, and then a whole bunch of Sloan filters to bridge the photometry of the 20th and 21st century, but at the same time to provide standard stars across the entire night sky for objects of interest. So we are creating that catalog. We're very close to finishing that project, so it's going to be available for comparison stars. So to answer directly your question, we are a little bit reluctant to accept light curves that are created with variable stars other than the ones that we recommend, but it doesn't mean that we are rejecting them.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, I have one again. Do you have an idea or some statistics about how How many papers are published in cooperation with your members?
Cooperation with our members. So I can tell you, that's an excellent question. I can tell you what the challenge is in order to find those papers. The challenge is that people do not researchers forget to put the AAVSO in the title of the paper or the acknowledgements or even the abstract, so it's difficult for us to search. If somebody does not tell us and we don't notice that there is a paper out there, we don't know that it's published. We know that our publications have doubled the last 5 years in reference journals. I know that our members, individual observers, participate in specific campaigns and they have their names in their papers. And one thing that I'm bragging about actually very frequently is that my AAVSO observers have more Nature papers than I have. So we're talking about cutting edge science. You know, at some point, at a different opportunity, I would like to give you a talk on how the AAVSO manuscripts and how, you know, AAVSO observers are involved in those papers, have pushed science forward, and give you some examples of that.
Okay, that would be nice. So,
yeah, but we can
have next year.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect.
Maybe next year I can actually sneak in there and be there in person.
Okay, so are there any other questions? I have no other questions. Don't worry.
I would like to encourage you all to check out our webpage, join us, and if you are interested in participating in a project with us, send me an email. We can talk.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much again for your talk, and have a nice day.
Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the meeting.
Thank you. Bye.